Hi there. In this video I'm going to be painting this scene. Now, unusually it's all in black and white, and the reason that I've done this is to explain tonal differences. I'm always harping on about it in my videos, and if you're a new subscriber you won't have heard this. So do check out some of my other videos. But if you have been watching my videos, you'll have heard me going on and on about make the lights lighter and the darks darker. The reason for this is that it makes your paintings more interesting. Now, tonal differences with colour is quite difficult to see, and it takes a bit of experience to get it. So that's why I'm using just black and white to demonstrate tonal values. The first part of the video is going to be me showing you the gradation of tonal values so you can understand it. You may have seen this before and you may have done this before, so you can by all means skip over it until you get to the painting. But it's a really useful exercise just so that you can understand how tones work. So here we go. So I'm just going to take this scrap of paper here and I'm going to paint in a scale of tonal values. And I think this is a really useful exercise. It really teaches you what tonal values are all about. And I always start with black and white because it's easy to distinguish. And once you start working with colour, oh boy, it starts getting a bit more complicated. And I'm going to very quickly show you what I mean. So on one side we have black, which obviously has a very dark tone. Then if we add a tiny bit of white to that, oops, I'm adding too much white, not enough black. There we go. Paint that in next to it. It's slightly lighter. Add a bit more white. Let's mix that properly. Lighter again. A bit more white. Probably added a bit too much. Lighter again. And let's again go to white, and we're approaching it. We could probably fit in another grey. So we've got dark tones here, light tones here, i.e. white, and these are the mid-tones, the ones in the middle that are more similar. So when you put a dark tone next to a light tone, I'm just going to pop it right in here. It is mixing in with the white a bit because it is all still wet. You can see that there's a huge difference there. But if you put two light tones together, there isn't a difference, and two dark tones together, not so much of a difference. And you can do the same as well with white, obviously. We can put some white in here and you see a huge difference. So that's what we mean by tonal differences, tonal values, and making the lights lighter and the darks darker. Now I hope that's explained it to you, but now what we're going to do is I'm going to paint something using just black and white, just to experiment with tonal values. And I think this is a great exercise for you to start to learn all about tonal values and how valuable they are in your paintings. So let's give it a go. What shall I do? Shall I just do an abstract? And I could do, but I was thinking maybe it would it be quite fun to do a landscape? Maybe it would be. So let's give it a go. I'm going to use my spatula, if I can find it. And I'm going to mix up a mid-tone, a fairly dark tone, I think, for the land, and see what happens. Here we go. That all went a bit awry there, and I'm going to get a little bit more light in there, just because if you imagine a field of, say, I don't know, wheat, it would be lighter than rocks, for example. And it's all about having difference in tones. So we can get quite a lot of difference into this painting, I think. We might want some real darks coming in. That's got a bit of white mixed in, so it's not completely dark. And I'm being really quite experimental because in my head I can't equate this to sort of turning a colour thing into black and white. So I'm just making some different marks and seeing what happens. I'm going to get some sky in, which I think will be easier because we see quite a lot of grey skies in the UK. Although it has actually, to be fair, been really nice recently. It's quite nice actually because I've got really thick paint here. And I quite like it. So let's get some, I love that that texture I've got going on there. And as you can see, I'm just really dragging this brush across. I'm sopping over my brushes because I don't want to mix the paints in too much. I want some distinction in the colours or the gradations of the white and black. Now it's all a bit wishy-washy, so I'm going to put some more black out, and I've only got quite a small, where have all my brushes gone here now? So I don't know if I want a brush. I think I might want a palette knife because I want some angular. I feel there's rocks in here, so let's make this actually. No, do you know what I'm going to do? Because in the distance you would have, it would be lighter, wouldn't it? The tonal value would be sort of a bit lighter in the distance, and it would be much darker closer to. So I've made a mid-tone there. I have to use my left hand to do this. And that's the distance. Then I'm going to have some mixed white in. So you need a piece of tissue. Mix, I'm going to leave that mark there because I quite like it. And then you just mix in, well, not even mix, I want some dark foreground. And I'm just going to do some really bold lines because otherwise I'm going to get, this is just going to get fussy. It's already starting to get fussy. Now I've got two marks completely the same. It just doesn't look right. So be aware of that when you're doing any sort of work. Be aware that you get marks that are different, shapes that are different. You don't want to end up having things similar. Let's have that going above that horizon line a bit. We can have a feeling of, it's actually starting to dry, I can't believe it. Let's get a pencil. It doesn't really matter actually, that can be some kind of vegetation. And then let's get another variation of a, so we started off and it was all a bit kind of similar, but now we've got some interesting things going on with different marks. That's not working for me at all. Let's get that out. Right. And again, I'm going to just merge that in a little bit there. We've got a few more interesting lines coming through. That works for me. I'm going to put this, make this a bit taller, so it's more mountainous. I might change the angle there. That's okay. Okay. I'm going to change to a brush to get a little bit more going on in the sky. And just looking around saying, well, let's get rid of some of that white that's going on there. It's a bit distracting. We could actually, I love doing a bit of this and I'm in the mood today, we could actually flick in some white to sort of represent, I don't know, seed heads or something here. and then you've got that contrast going on there. And maybe we'll have just a little bit, you see we've got this nice dark line going in there, and I'm just going to maybe put the brush on its side. So there's might be a little forest going on there. And maybe a path or something going over there. So that's really quick, and what it's done is it's demonstrated the difference between darks, lights and midtones, because you need all of them. That's the interplay of all of these that makes an interesting painting. So let's take off the tape and see what it looks like. This is always the big reveal. Paintings look so much better when they've got a mouth. You can now see how just with black and white you can see that there is a landscape. We've got the distant hill, we've got something in the foreground, we've got a little bit of grass, there's some kind of a field, there might be some foresty bit going on there, there's something going on there. That could possibly be a little bit lighter, and that could be much darker, but I quite like it as it is. I like the sky. It was very simple. It didn't take long, and that's the key. The key is don't fuss about too much, because then you get some really simple expressive marks, and it's fun, and painting should just be fun. So give it a go. If you're a subscriber and you're joining me again, thanks so much. I really, really appreciate it, and it's great having your comments. If you're new to this channel and you like this, please subscribe, and do share these videos with your friends, your painting friends, because it all helps my channel, and the more subscribers I get, the more videos I can make and share with you, because I love it. See you again.